what is branding? Can you be branded? And the third, develop your brand. Today, we're going to talk about how to brand yourself and your business. We're going to be looking at 3 key points. First one, what is branding? Second, can you be branded? And the third, develop your brand. What is branding? For you, what is a brand? What do you mean? When I say brand, what does it mean to you? Description of anything that brings a product service to your mind when seen. A brand is really how people identify a particular company, distinctive design. So how people identify a particular company, a product, or an individual. It is also people's perception of the company, of their products, or people's perception of an individual. It could also mean the image that customers have of your business. So what image do they have of your business? It's not only about your logo. There's so many brands that we know today that most of the time we don't even remember their logo. And it is not just about your name. It is a combination of all. What comes to your mind when you look at these logos or images that I have here?
Clothes, Adidas.
Okay, interesting. Someone says, Ovina, for majority, I know exactly what they do. For most of us, it's very Amazon direct selling. That's quite interesting because someone says online shopping and that person says direct selling. You can see that your perception is really based on the interaction that you have with these different brands and maybe what you hear about them. A brand is really based on what your customers experience from their interaction with you. So what is the experience that they have with you? That will define how they perceive your brand and also what they see concerning you. What do they see? They see a logo, maybe they see a video, an image somewhere, an advert. It contributes to helping to build your brand in your customer's mind. And what do they hear about you from others? I don't know if you have an example of a brand where you probably see or hear that, or you've maybe seen that they have really cool stuff, nice maybe shops or whatever. But when you hear about what they do to their customers and the kind of service that they offer to their customers, you're like, okay, that is a bad brand because they are not servicing their customers correctly. And so in your customers' mind and in people's minds, they are basing their perception of your brand based on not only what they experience, but also what other people are saying about you, about your brand. If you want to build your brand correctly, you have to manage what your customers experience. So make sure they have a great experience with you, what your customers see, and what your customers hear about you from other people. Now, when we talk about branding, we have different types of brand. We have the company brand. So it could be, just like I just showed you, Adidas, Deezer, Amazon, Spotify. It could be a product brand or it could be a personal brand. Basically, anything, anyone can become a brand. Today, we will not be talking much about product brand. We will go a lot into personal branding and a bit of company branding. Can you be branded? Here, we're talking about your personal or business or your company brand. What are the things that you need to do, first of all, when you want to brand yourself? The first thing, there's so many questions that you need to ask. The first thing you need to ask is, what do people say about you today? And this is an exercise that you have to do deliberately. Ask people, what are they saying about you? Just, ask, what are they saying about you? What are people asking me to do more of today? People, probably you're an artist and, because you draw so well or because you sing so well, people are saying, hey, could you come and sing for me at this particular place? Could you come and draw for me, for this particular event? What are you known for? What are people beginning to know you for? What is your business perceived as? And lastly, where can you be found? Where can I be found today? Where can people find me if they're looking for me? So these are questions that you want to ask yourself. And, a good place to start is just go ahead and Google yourself. You can even do it right now. Google yourself today. What is the first thing that comes up about you? Is there something, is it about your business? Is it about you? Is it something that you want to put out there that you are doing? Or is it something that you want to be known for? Just one thing to keep in mind is that different people will have different perceptions of you depending on the kind of relationship you have with them. The kind of perception, maybe I'll take the example of what someone just said. Amazon, somebody says online shopping, uh, or someone else said direct selling. They probably had different experience. Maybe Asma is even selling on Amazon. Who knows? But again, you can see that they have different perceptions of the same brand. But again, what you want to measure, what you want to put out there is what exactly you want to be known for as a brand, whether it is you personally or your business. Keep those questions in mind, write them down, think about them, okay, because we're going to be using them later. Next thing is, who are you exactly? Who are you? Remember, notice that when I asked you about what you do, I did not say who are you, because who are you is not what you do. What you do today, you could be working as an employee somewhere. It doesn't necessarily mean that is who you are. It doesn't define your identity. You're defining your identity based on what is your purpose, what is your vision today, what is your goal in life. And this applies whether you are, you're looking to develop your personal brand or you're looking to develop your business. What is your purpose? It's very funny because this point keeps coming back every single time. I've been to, I would say, one of the best leadership programs. Go to Harvard, go to Oxford. They would tell you, whatever you want to do in life, whatever you want to go, if you want to go ahead in life, first thing you need to define is, what is your purpose today on earth? What is your purpose? Why are you here? What are you trying to achieve? It's still funny because today I was attending is a kind of webinar of Facebook. Well, not Facebook anymore, Meta. You guys know that Facebook has changed its name. And, it was a kind of webinar meeting of Meta product leaders talking about how they've been able to lead, especially in the pandemic and all of that. And it still came back to them saying, me defining my purpose helped me to be a better leader, for example. And really, it's very important, whatever you want to do, even whatever business you're starting, whatever business you're doing, define what your purpose is, your vision, your goal. And again, think about, how has your life experience today shaped who you are? Because no experience is lost. Everything that has happened to you is taking you towards a particular purpose, a particular mission, a particular goal. How have your different experiences in life shaped you and made you who you are today? What are the values that you have? What are your principles? These are things that you have to sit yourself down and write. It takes a long time. Believe me, I know it takes a long time for you to actually sit down, and write all of these things, but you need to do that. You need that time. How do you see yourself? What am I offering today? What do I offer to people? Basically, what are you bringing to the table wherever you are? What can we say that you're bringing to the table? What are your interests? What is your passion? What is that thing you're passionate about? What makes you unique? These last two questions, they're very important. What do you want to do? Sometimes we try to feel like, we're driven by the wind, what people want us to do. The question is, what do you yourself want to do? And even more importantly, what don't you want to do? Ask myself, what don't I want to do? Because that helps you to set boundaries on exactly what you want to focus on. So how do you develop your brand? So remember, we're talking about whether it's personal or business branding. First question, even personally, even if you're doing a business, first question you have to ask yourself, what do you have in your CV? I believe some people call it a resume. What do you have there? Usually people would write a resume and say, oh, I worked here, I had my experience here, and that's it. You need to sit down and map your own skills. Your skills is not only your work experience, it's not only your education, it's also the different things that you produce, the different things that you work on that are part of your passion. For example, you would have, of course, experience education. That's totally fine. But your trainings, what are the other things that you're doing, that you're working on, your side projects? Do you write blogs? Do you design? I once had a mentee, and it was when we started a mentorship, I asked, okay, what are the things you do? And she was telling me, oh, I'm a business analyst. That's what I do. And unfortunately, I don't have that much experience in business analyst and all that. I was like, okay, is there any other thing that you do today? Well, I discovered that she had a lot of experience in designing, in photoshopping, in imaging, in creating videos and content basically. But she wasn't using that because she thought that wasn't necessary for her to probably get a job or to start a business. And so, what we had to do was, look, let's sit down and do a skills map. The skills map is, let's map all the things that you know how to do outside of your work experience, outside of your education. And you know what that did? It helped to identify all of her capabilities, what she could do, what she could make money from. Because today she had all this experience, but she wasn't making any money from them. And no, not everyone has the same experience that you have. Not everyone has the same skills that you have. So what are those skills that you can monetize, that you can make money from, that you're thinking, oh, it doesn't make any sense, or it doesn't matter because, somebody, because, they're not asking for it on your job. But can you monetize it? Can you make money from it? And can you build a brand around that skill? And by the time we were done with this mentee of mine, not only did she get a better job, okay, praise God, but she was able to harness all the skills that she had. She no longer belittled them, and she was able to harness that and actually build her business based on those skills that she had on the side. So this is really, really important because, again, nobody can sell you better than yourself. Because I did not live with you since the beginning. This is where you were born. Even if you have your brother, your sister, they never had exactly the same experience that you had, never had the same education. So it's important for you to be the one to market yourself, to be the one to define yourself so that, people are not doing that for you. And it is only whatever you put down, you put out there, that people will see. Building an online presence. Okay, there's a lot here. We have about 7 points here. When you want to build an online presence, you have to first of all understand your target audience. Where are they? Where are they today? Are they on LinkedIn, on TikTok, on WhatsApp, Twitter? Like you have all of these media today. The question you want to ask yourself, where's your target audience located? It's important because some people would try to sell something that they're doing. They'll try to sell on WhatsApp only. Okay, but maybe you only have your friends and family on WhatsApp. Are they going to buy from you? Some people would maybe try to sell on Facebook, but they're trying to sell to younger generation are no longer spending their time on Facebook. They're somewhere else. So maybe you want to go meet them where they are. So that's the question. Where is your target audience? Who is your target audience and where are they? And second question is, why are people there? Are they there for professional meetups or are they just there for casual stuff? Because let's say, for example, you actually, not even just, I actually had an example. So this is one of my own role models, someone who is a big shot, who does a lot of speaking. He has a whole, he has a company and he earns a lot of money by coaching, having workshops with people. He tried and he was a big shot on Twitter. He was a big shot on LinkedIn. But so he was like, oh, how about I try out Instagram? He discovered that Instagram wasn't making anything for him or any money from him because people that were on Instagram were not his target audience. And so he decided, you know what, I'm just going to leave that apart and focus on my where I can find my target audience, because that's just wasting my time. So question, these are the questions you have to ask yourself, so you're not wasting time in a place where you would not make any money in the end. Again, what's the nature of the content? Imagine, for example, you're trying to post on Instagram and all you're posting is text. Nobody's going to look at your post. So you want to post what is the kind of content that they expect on that particular platform. If it's audio, video, images, stick to that kind of content. What's the age group also of your target audience? Don't assume that you're targeting every single person in the world. No. And based on the age group that you're also targeting, you can also determine the kind of communication you're going to put out there. And that the language of the teenagers is different from the language of maybe people that are in their 30s. It's different from the language of people in their 40s. It's different from the language of people in their 50s. They have different understanding, different way of viewing things, perception. These are different generations. You have to really sit down and say, okay, what is the age group that I'm targeting so that I can tailor my language to this audience. Again, also, what is the location? Depending on the location that you are in, look at the online media that is being used in your location. There are some countries where they don't have Twitter. There are some countries where they're not necessarily using Facebook. You'll be amazed, but if you're trying to sell something in China and you're like on Facebook or Twitter, like nobody's going to buy your stuff because they don't have it, for example. So there are some countries where most people are more on a particular media or in a particular part of the online world. Focus on those based on who you are targeting. And again, always tailor your stories and don't waste your time investing in places where your audience cannot be found, because you can invest that time in somewhere else where you'll be more productive. Maybe just to continue on using social media, make sure you use the right media, but also engage your audience. And there's something that I always tell people, because people are always going after, oh, I have 500 likes, 5,000 likes. Forget about likes. Your views are more important. Who have you reached? Because what happens is that you can have many people liking your stuff, but the people that will buy from you, the people that actually will engage with you, they are people that have just viewed and are keeping it somewhere, because they will be the ones to come back and say, hey, I viewed your stuff, I saw your stuff somewhere, and I would like to ask you to do something. They would never ever like yours. They don't. Some of them will, of course. I'm not saying nobody will, but if you're basing if you, for example, you post something and nobody likes it, don't assume that it's not being seen. It's an investment. Keep going. And also make sure you create a kind of business account, so that you're not mixing your business account with your normal account that you're using to post your daily stuff. Try to create a business account around your brand on social media. Improve your reach. Make sure that you're reaching more and more people by engaging with your audience. I know a lot of people will say, yeah, but I don't like social media, I don't like putting on my stuff. Like, no, nobody's asking you to like social media. You need social media to like you. That's it. So you don't need to put all of yourself out there. You need social media to like you, to like your brand. And that's the purpose. We're not looking for you to be in love with social media. This is something you can do by yourself, or something, of course, you can also always contact a social media manager to help you to do, because they already know exactly what to do and they're not putting you or yourself out there. But again, it depends on the kind of brand that you're building. If you're building a personal brand, you have to build a personal brand around yourself. Think about it. Your circle of influence, it depends. Maybe what do you mean by circle of influence? Is it online, or circle of influence in terms of word of mouth? People that can talk about your products elsewhere, or maybe influencers. Yeah, I mean, that's good if you're able to pay influencers also in society. Okay, yeah, good. So I got that. So I know what that means. So it's people that are talking about your product within the society. So basically word of mouth, and that is totally fine. Join groups and communities, because you will go faster together. Thankfully, you guys are already here. Financial management, that's already one. But go out there and look for communities. Don't do things by yourself, in a corner. Join people with like minds, but also join the community where your target audience is. Go look for those communities and join them. Talk about your services. Hey, look at what I do. These are the things this is the kind of service I offer. Please feel free to reach out to me, or also engage in the community, not necessarily with always promoting your service, but also do something for people without actually asking them to buy your product, for example. It will also help to build trust. And of course, like I was saying, be active in your community. Just to show you some successful brand examples, Tesla, one of the things that they put forward, for example, is the customers must see that they are all for simplicity and efficiency and beauty, of course. All about simplicity and efficiency. They make sure that every customer has a unique Tesla-only experience. You can return your car for a full refund within 7 days or 1,000 miles, whichever comes first. That promise that they have put it right up front on the site. So it's one of the first things that you see on the site, so that they can build that trust and confidence with you. People hear also recommendations from other customers. So basically, just like we're saying, word of mouth. If your brother buys Tesla, it's going to come about and be like, you know what, Tesla is so cool. And the next thing you enter into the car, you're like, my God, I am definitely going to buy a Tesla, because they're really, really, really putting their brand out there and making sure that everybody is seeing the same thing and they can be recommended based on the value that they are, providing to their customers. Nike or Nike, what they see, what customers see is quality. Okay. And they also make sure that customers have a unique experience with them. You can sign up for Nike running, and even if you're not using Nike shoes, you can still sign up for that. And at the end of the day, you will go buy Nike shoes because you're like, yeah, I need to have that too. And most importantly, and even more recently, what they've been able to do to basically get ahead of a lot of other brands today is that they're promoting inclusion. So if you see down there, it says if you have a body, you're an athlete. So they're telling you you don't have to have the figure eight or whatever, chocolate chest or chocolate tummy, for you to use our products. You can be an athlete. You can use our products anytime, anywhere. Doesn't matter who you are or what kind of body you have. So when people hear that they feel included, they're like, oh, this is a good brand. I definitely want to buy from them because they speak to me. They are including me in their brand. We also have, lastly, Apple. And main point here is, of course, quality. People see, oh, this is good quality. And of course, you have the unique Apple experience that customers, love. And also what they hear is pride, because people using Apple, they'll be like, oh yeah, I use an Apple. I use, I don't know, a MacBook or an iPhone, whatever it is. You can see that that promise that they have is being promoted out there anywhere, like Lightning Strikes Again. That's telling you that our product's good quality, it's light. It's only Apple that can give you that experience. Come buy our product. Just to conclude this aspect, 3 takeaways, as we said from the beginning. What is branding? Is what your customers see, what they experience, what they hear. And can you be branded? Absolutely. But you have to understand who you are, what people say about you. And of course, to develop your brand, define your target audience and target the right audience. Again, don't stop, because branding is totally iterative. It's continuous. I'm still developing. I will continue to develop my own brand. And don't think that once you do it the first time, you have to stop there. You have to keep improving it. You will discover that some people might, ask you to do something that you were not even aware of, because somehow the experience they've had with you makes them think that that is what you do, and so you can maybe branch into that, because now you have customers that are expecting you to behave in, or to have such a product, and so you can build such a product for them. Don't stop, keep going, keep building your brand, and then you will continue to get results.